this season. They haven't won here since last July. 280 days since Hull FC last won a home game. One of the best supported teams in the comp, with one of the best grounds in the comp, and they can't win at home. That's a mystery, Barry, isn't it?
Yeah, Hull FC have made so many improvements, and they'll be looking forward to this game. They've got some exceptional performers amongst the ranks. You'd think Wigan start favourites, just above them in the league, but again, it could and should be a cracker.
Well, Wigan do indeed start favourites. They start favourite for every match they play, such as the respect they're held in by bookmakers and by punters. They're favourites to retain their grand final crown ahead of Hull KR in the betting. Hull FC, you could still back them at 40-1 if you're so inclined. And Hull FC have the ball first here, moving from right to left as we... Oh, sorry, Wigan have the ball first, moving from right to left. Hull FC, black and white. Wigan in the changed colours of dark blue as Junior Nsemba gets his hands on the football earlier on, but he's muscled backwards.
Good work, isn't it? They don't want to allow Junior Nsemba, who's another player in terrific form, to get in that advantage, and they're trying to shove him back, and they do so.
Well, points haven't been flowing really in Super League in 2025, but in these conditions you would expect tries to be very much on the Sunday afternoon menu. Sam Walters taking the ball forward there, and there the little chip forward from Harry Smith. That's a good claim by the returning Harvey Barron. Back in the team, he's missed 6 games with a hamstring problem, and his return a real boost to John Cartwright, because with Jordan Rappler out, he's had to shuffle around his outside backs.
Yeah, Tom Briscoe playing in the centre this afternoon. Did a little bit of that during his time at Leeds, but he's obviously tried and tested, born and bred as a winger, Tom Briscoe, but that was a confident take from Harvey Barron.
Tom Briscoe approaching 100 tries for Hull FC. He's 3 away, and while he might be drawing a long bow to expect him to score a hat-trick against the competition's meanest defence, I'm sure the tongue will be topped at some point by the now veteran centre or wing. Liam Marshall back pedals and claimed it in the end. Just for a moment, there was one or two moments where he might drop that, and it was. And here's Field with an early exercise canter, carrying the ball forward, and dangerous to let that man run.
What a wonderful offload, brave and all to say it's the beginning of the game. We've only just got a couple of minutes on the clock, but Liam Marshall, with the rest of that backfield from Wigan, confident in their own ability.
Wigan with 2 wins on their travels this season. One of them I already mentioned was here. Hull FC yet to win at home. 1 draw, that was against Lee. Went to Golden Point and they still couldn't be separated, and 2 defeats. Field again, and they'll inject him into that line as often as they possibly can, the Wigan Warriors. Brad O'Neill coming in at dummy half here. They put Cruz Leeming on the bench. They'll bring him in off the interchange bench in this match. Harry Smith with the left-footed prodded ball again, testing out Barron, and Barron again is equal to that. But they may muscle him over the sideline. They have.
It's big effort, isn't it, from Wigan? It's a deliberate ploy from Wigan to end over end, kick it to the winger, hold him up and push him over that sideline. Big effort. Big effort from the Warriors.
It's a well-rehearsed ploy, that, Barry, isn't it?
It is, but if you're Hull FC, you're asking the question about Harry Smith and how much time he's got on the ball. Get up, take some time, put him under some pressure, and don't allow him to place the ball where he wants.
I'm not sure there's a great deal Harvey Barron can do there. He wanted to get to ground, but when he's being held up and then muscled over the line by 4 or 5 Wigan Warriors, it's very tough. Here's Adam Kieran back in the team for the Warriors this afternoon. That's a real boost for Matty Pete, not least because of his beautiful goal kicking. One of the most accurate marksmen in the competition. 21 out of 24 so far this season for Adam Kieran, and Wigan knocking on the door early on. O'Neill, and they'll swing it here to the left-hand flank. Junior Nsemba with the offload. Field, just simple ball back inside. Walters now, Sam Walters crabbing across around 10 metres from that Hull FC line, and eventually taken to ground.
quick, Jack!
That was French. Kieran repelled. Is it just a matter of time before the Warriors open the scoring? Abasmiski finds Bevan French. French spins it from right to left. Harry Smith and Sember, he did well to hold on to that. He's got a tenuous grip on that ball, Junior Sember, and eventually he's knocked down. 10 metres out. And this is the last tackle for the Warriors. Hull have done well up to press. Prodded through by Harry Smith. Oh, they let it run. Bevan French with the acrobatics. Is it the 4 points? I think it may be. Jack Smith on the field believes that is the opening score from the magician Bevan French. Let's hear from the video referee, the man who will make the decision.
So we have
is Ben
a light
Taylor.
called a try on field. We're just going from here to check that everybody's on side. You can clearly see that everybody to the right of him is on side. So we're playing on, and just the player to the left, 13, is also on side, who chases the ball up. So everybody's on. If we're going in tight on this, nice and slow. I'll just flip to ensure that he stays in the field of play. So it is caught and then grounded. Thank you, I've now made my decision.
Well, there was a whole lot of pieces in that jigsaw, but in the end, the final piece came from Bevan French. Acrobatic stuff. The somersaulting score from the former man of steel, and it is the first points of the afternoon. Talk us through it. Is that a try when you congratulate the scorer, Barry, or blame the defending team?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I think the defence, first of all, an accurate kick from Harry Smith, the first involvement he's got in this passage of play. The defence and the ability and want and will to get Harvey Barron over the sideline. Communication is the key in every scenario, whether you have the ball in hand or you don't, and there's probably a lack of communication. 6 and 7, obviously Will Price playing at fullback this morning. He didn't overcall it. Aidan Caesar didn't call for it, so the lesson of the day is there from Bevan French. Never give up on a play. He goes, even when he thinks a player in the black and white shirt might pick it up, he keeps going, and gets his just reward.
Adam Kieran back on goal-kicking duty. You'd expect him to stroke this one over on his return to the team. It would be his 22nd successful kick of the Super League season if he is successful, and he is. And Wigan up by 6 early doors. Yes, sorry, Barry, as you say, that'll be a try that John Cartwright will be filthy about, but Matt Pate will say, yeah, we got the extra set of 6 because we did well, put the winger over the sideline. The kick worked, and Bevan French, we know what he can do.
Yeah, I think John Cartwright will be disappointed with the confusion in the backfield, and it's self-inflicted, isn't it, from Hull FC? They should have dealt with a bouncing ball. They didn't, neither player committed, and they find themselves 6-0 behind on the scoreboard.
Even allowing for that miscommunication and mistake in not getting rid of the bouncing ball, it still needed scoring, didn't it?
I'll go back to my first point. The time and space Harry Smith has on the ball to decide where he's passing, where he's kicking.
Release, tackle 3, come back left.
Bevan French's 6th try of the Super League season. He has 8 assists too, so 14 try involvements. And every time he gets his hands on the ball or he's near the ball, you stand up thinking that something could happen, and it often does. This time they're hunting in packs again, the Warriors. They're all over. This time Will Price like a rash here. And this is some savage defence here from the Super League champions early on in the piece.
Well, a lesson for Will Price there, probably the second one of the afternoon so far. Stay away from that sideline. He receives the ball, another quality kick from Harry Smith. He receives the ball, goes down that skinny side instead of probably trying to aim towards the middle of the field, not allowing Wigan to flop him over the sideline. Frustration from the coach.
well, for that to happen once could be considered unlucky. To see it happen twice could be regarded as carelessness. Here's French and now Liam Farrell, the Wigan captain, setting up base camp now, 20 metres or so away from the Hull SC line as they go looking for a second try inside the first 10 minutes. And what a start that would be for Matt Peate's travelling side. Pete, with this exceptional coaching record for Wigan, he's won 83 games out of 108 at 77%. Phenomenal stuff from the Wigan coach. Looking for another victory on the road here. O'Neill, Smith, French again. Kieran running out of real estate there, can't get to the line, and is he over the sideline?
Touch judge says yes. And there's delight and celebration for the Hull FC players. David Litton over on that left edge. Keeps hold of Kieran, keeps him moving, always moving, and then I think it's the back foot. Just touches the sideline. Hull FC will get hold of the ball.
David Litt with a couple of tries in that epic Hull win at Warrington a couple of weeks back. One of their best wins of the season. And the improvement has been enormous this season for Hull FC. They've won 5 games of their opening 8. Last season they won 1 and lost 7. So you can see the difference. John Cartwright saying that what they wanted to do when they arrived, him and his coaching team, was to make sure they were competitive in every game. They've achieved that and more on top. But now the expectations are going up. They were big outsiders to finish in the 6 at the start of the season. Now I think you'd probably make them one of the favourites to be in the top 6 when the music stops and we get ready for playoffs. So the expectation has gone up for Hull FC, and now they're coming into acid tests against the likes of Hull KR and Wigan. SA now. Oh, the rampaging Herminator up to the halfway line. Price comes into the line. Will Price, what a run! Still going here, Will Price, the jinking sidestepping run to within 10 metres. Knocked down in the end, Cust against his old club here. Loose ball, fumble by Barron, whistle blows. What's Jack Smith spotted here? Offside against Wigan is what the official is indicating.
Well, they'll get the ball back, Hull FC. It all started from a beautiful offload from John Asiata. Midfield, gets his arm free, and then the big man, Herman SA gobbles up another 25 metres. And then Will Price, as he does so often, on the front foot, looking at retreating defenders, trying to exploit that. Poor pass in the end from Cade Cuss, but they'll get a good look at the line here and examine Wigan's goal line defence.
Buru gets Hull rumbling forward again. Here's the Australian Liam Knight, close to the try line after Wigan were pinged for offside. So a fresh set here for the black and whites. Play on to Jack Smith. Buru again. SA spinning, twisting. But in the end, enveloped by Farrell. Buru again. And there's a seasoner making a little injection. Knocked down by his opposite number, Harry Smith, with some help from Julian Asemba. Cust again is involved. Can the offload come back to the former Wigan standoff? It can't. Caesar. Price scores! Wonderful try. And Will Price, who was involved in the error that led to the Wigan try, was certainly involved there as he potentially levels the scores.
Well, that's a gorgeous show and goal from Will Price. Obviously making his way in this team, still trying to establish himself. But look at his midfield break here. Julian Asemba can't participate in the tackle. He's not back on side. And from that set of possession, he sums this up perfectly. Abbas Miski can't commit to the tackle with a player outside him. He just does the right job. Adam Kieran can't close that gap, can't get to the full-back, and that gets the home side back in the game.
Well, that was a try that he had many parts in. He was involved in the original break that got Hull forward and near the try line, and then he scores the try. His first try in the Super League for Hull FC. And We expected him to be adding the goal kicks as well this afternoon. He's kicked 5 goals for Hull, but that is Aidan Caesar. So whether Will Price was just suffered a little bit of a knock as he went over.
Aidan Caesar, as captain, an emotional leader of this side, he's going to try and convert from the tee, but it's a try that you feel that Hull FC needed to keep the confidence within this game.
Well, tricky kick from wide out, right on the stripe, to level the scores. It's well struck, and it's worth 2 points. Wow. Both teams out of the traps quick here. 6 apiece early doors. 13 minutes on the watch.
The first 10 minutes has all been about the visitors, Wigan. They've had good field position and a hefty amount of possession. And you're right, Rod, they defended that mistake from Will Price. They came back at the other end of the field and ultimately converted a chance into points.
Well, those of us of a certain vintage will see Will Price and be reminded of the gliding runs of Leon Price.
There's a foot in touch
there. Foot touch there, and that is going to be Lewis Martin, who cannot believe what's happened. But what has happened here is Wigan have been gifted possession.
Oh, you can see 2 players again. Yeah, lack of experience. Jack Ashworth, who gets a start in a Hull FC shirt. He's been, over the last 3 or 4 weeks, really impressive. He was involved in that with Lewis Martin, another player improving and increasing in stock, but he gets that all wrong, the winger.
Well, now some tough work to be done for Hull to hold on here just after points have been scored, because Wigan very close to the line as they start this set.
2. William, I'm here, get out! 2, stay on the line.
Sam Walters has been involved a lot so far. Here's Harry Smith. Here's Jay Field. We can't stop Field. He's having another field day. And the whistle goes. Now this is going to go to the video ref. Let's hear from Jack Smith first.
Try on field. You just check the obstruction for us, please.
Try on field, and Jack Smith wants Ben Thaler to have a look at the obstruction. And if it's a try, it will be an 11th of the season for Jay Field. Over to you, Ben.
We have a live decision on Fielder's try, so we are just checking for obstruction. 13 is ahead of the ball and he finds space, so there's no obstruction on there. So we're just playing on now what number 4 does. Right, okay. Does he affect Briscoe? So he goes into Briscoe and hits him flush. He doesn't hit the inside shoulder. And the ball is... catches it. You can clearly see there. He then catches it on the outside. You can see because of the line, actually. So he's not run behind him. He's not run behind him because it's caught on the other side of the line. You can clearly see where Briscoe is on that line. Then Briscoe has the chance. It's going through that gap. And if you look at what Briscoe does, Briscoe stands there. There's 2 men there, and he goes through. There's no effort there by Briscoe to ever adjust or anything like that. And if you look at Briscoe, he then steps towards the man as well. He's not hitting flush on. Briscoe's not any attempt to looking at the back. He was watching the ball carrier. And to me, therefore, you've got to look at the defender initiates that contact. And if you just throw it on from here, then I'm going to go to the grounding. And go on from here. Probably need to look at the other side. That's the one. Pause it there. Thank you. I've now made my decision.
Well, it's going to be a 3rd try inside 15 minutes here in the sunshine in Hull, because Ben Thaler sees no reason to chalk off the Jay Field touchdown. There it is, and Wigan back in front here. Jay Field. He scored a hat-trick when Wigan were here in February. He scored in the cup game before limping off injured. So what's that, 5 tries in 2.5 games against Hull.
Correct decision for me, correct decision. Tom Briscoe was always going to go for the player, whether it's inside shoulder or not. The fact that he stood sideways, he hits him bang in the chest. It's a great finish from Jay Field, and an unfortunate mistake led to the opportunity for Wigan. Lewis Martin will be kicking himself.
And here Adam Kieran looking to add more points. Tags on the deuce, and Wigan up by 6 again. 12-6 the Warriors. A win here would take them back up to second on the league ladder and trim the Hull Care advantage at the top to 2 points.
Yeah, Tom Briscoe was always going to tackle Jake Wardle. He's up way in front of the line, and it's again another ruthless finish from Wigan.
Well, Wigan's tries this season have come from a pretty small group of players. 11 now to Field, 6 to French, 7 to Wardle, 5 to Miskey. There are 9 players in the 17 today playing for Wigan that have either 0 or 1 true Super League try this season. So they've relied on a small group of players to get a lot of tries. But if you're relying on Field, French, Wardle, Miskey and Marshall, there are worse players to rely on to score tries.
And they're in the team consistently. That's the point, isn't it? The selection dilemma is virtually non-existent. I know Zach Eckersley can think himself unlucky to be outside the 13. He certainly hasn't let anybody down.
He's got 3 tries in the Super League, Eckersley.
Yeah, and he's performed really well. You think back to that St Helens good take from Price, that St Helens game on Good Friday, definitely in the top 3 performance for the side.
Yeah, he's a good backup and probably would get into a lot of other Super League sides. And the other thing about the Wigan team you'll notice, Barry, and know that you have noticed, is the number of players on the field today that are jersey number 1, 2, 13, which is, whilst it's not an exact science, it's
not far
indicative,
off, though,
isn't it?
Yeah.
That the best players are out there.
It's not far off when you come to your first choice players in the respective positions.
It's a very strong side they've got out here. Hull are missing some players to injury, including Rappeler, who's going to be out for about 4 weeks, John Cartwright was saying, with a groin strain. That's a blow. Here's a big kick in the air from Caesar. Well claimed, well collected by Field, very safe at the back. As well as the try scoring, he provides a very sound option at the back.
Wait for it, go.
Field and French, the old firm, both on the score sheet. Making recruits from overseas, again, is not an exact science. We've seen players come on with big reputations and promise the world and deliver an atlas, but these 2 players have been sensational. Cade Ellis. 3 Hull players envelop the Wigan loose forward. Walters. French again. French tries to offload, it goes forward. It's knocked on by Litton, but the first knock on or the first forward pass will be Bevan French.
Yeah, loose offload there from Wigan whilst in attack. And I was just taking a moment to look at the defence of Hull FC, because Hull FC's defensive numbers, on average, they are conceding an average of 19 points a game. They're only scoring 18, so that tells you something about where they are as a game. But I'm looking at Herman Essa. We've marvelled at the contributions he's made for Hull FC so far in the first 8 rounds, but all he's done so far in this game is defend. He looks gassed. I'll be pretty sure that Hull FC will be making a change in the middle, giving the big fella a rest till the game is more suited to his attributes.
Well, Hull have got the ball now. Tom Briscoe trying to wrestle his way free from the clutches of 2 Wigan defenders. Hardacre, another former Wigan Warrior on the Hull roster. Amazing to think it's a decade since Zach Hardacre was man of steel. Asiata. Caesar, he throws it behind Will Price. He does well to backpedal and pick it up, but by the time he got moving forward, Wigan were up upon him and Walters was there with Liam Farrell. Here is SASA. Goes into reverse, looks to offload, but he can't get an arm free there. plays the ball 20 metres out. Oh, Buru! Oh, great run, great scoot. Took him to within a couple of metres of the Wigan line before the door closed on him. Price in at dummy half. Asiata, ball playing loose forward. Caesar back onto the left foot. And now Kosh shapes to kick, does kick left-footed. No distance, in fact it goes backwards if anything. Hacks further forward. What a mess of an end to a set. Jay Field says thank you very much. Field finds Miski. Miski nowhere to go this time. But that was a shambolic conclusion, Barry, if ever there was one.
You'd just like a bit more composure when they get down there, Hull FC. Obviously, Cade Cuss picks the ball up off an offload from his half-back partner, Aidan Caesar. Those two players in particular need to take control of the back end of the set.
Cade Cuss free to play in this match, escaped a suspension after being sent off in the derby game against Hull KR, but no ban was forthcoming. Cade Ellis to Bevan French and French. Cushion to kick forward, it's heading for the sideline, but takes a Hull FC bounce into play, and it's knocked on. Knocked on, and again the pressure that came from the kick.
That's outstanding, Rod. Wigan are at their best when they're kicking early, kicking on tackle 4, sometimes tackle 3, back in their defence and piling the pressure on their opposition. You can see another bouncing ball, another slight communication breakdown. It ends up in the hands of Lewis Martin, who can't get hold of it.
Well, if you keep inviting Wigan to start sets 20 metres or even nearer to your own line, you're asking for trouble, and it's a pretty fair bet you're going to find it. They've already found it twice. French on 5 minutes and Field on 14. And now Wigan hunting a third try very early on. Harry Smith finds Wardle. Wardle goes for the line, can't snake out a left arm. Liam Marshall on the scene. Wardle plays the ball a metre short. Marshall spins it from left to right to Harry Smith. And now it finds its way to Liam Byrne. And Byrne has no space and no time, and O'Neill now at dummy half this time. Runners everywhere. Harry Smith. Field again. Oh, he's absolutely monstered by Briscoe. Smith again, dropping off something simple for Walters. And Hull have kept the back door shut here, but for how long? 6 again, the call. More problems for Hull FC as they overstep the mark close to their line. So repeat set for Wigan. Trouble here as the champions looking for another body blow. Walters, Sam Walters very close again, and they have to muscle up with 3 or even 4 defenders. So they're all tied up near the ruck. Smith, loose pass this time, picked up by Barron near his own line. And Hull FC have survived.
Well, Wigan are human, aren't they? Under a little bit of pressure, Harry Smith catches and passes at the same time. It isn't accurate, and he can't gather it in, Junior Nsemba. That means Hull FC will get the ball back. When they got the 6 again, Wigan, I thought this is going to end up in points conceded from Hull FC, but thankfully for the home fans, they managed to defend.
Wow, this is a real test for Hull FC. Recent fixtures where they've got beat twice by rivals Hull KR in League and Cup, and now they face up against the Wigan Warriors. They had Warrington away as well, so there's been a tough run of fixtures. Price, Will Price again, sensational, smooth, silky run, wide it goes to Litton.
So exciting, isn't he, Will Price?
Price has been sensational from fullback here. The kick from Caesar, up goes Barron. Barron's going to score! What a try that was, and again Will Price with the break that set up the field position. The kick was pinpoint, the finish was superb. Oh, what a game we have here. This is some sort of rugby league match here at the MKM. 12-10 now to Wigan, kick to come for Hull to level it up.
What a delightful catch, isn't it? Will Price, with those evasive skills that he possesses, finds a little bit of broken play. The kick from Caesar is accurate, and the leap is divine from Harvey Barron. Celebrates in front of the home fans. And I go back to that set of defence where Harry Smith is rushed into a pass to Junior Nsemba. The ball spews out. And then Hull FC, if they can get some possession in decent field position, can trouble the scoreboard. But if they continue to try and make mistakes, then back that up with poor defence near the try line, it's going to be a long afternoon for them.
Well, this is the 54th match of this Super League season, and during the previous 53 we've seen a lot of low-scoring grinds, arm wrestles if you will. But this is more akin to an old-fashioned shootout in the sunshine. 2 tries each already here. We're only just over halfway through the first half. Caesar has the kicking tee again. Sets it off at the left upright, draws it in just a touch. Lovely kick, and it's all square again.
Do you know, if you watch this game with no knowledge of the scoreboard, you'd think Wigan were a mile in front, wouldn't you, because of the mistakes and the pressure that Hull FC have put themselves under. But when they've come down here, they've come up with some real special efforts, none more so than that from Harvey Barron, coming back from injury. And the perfect way to announce his return to the team.
3rd try of the season and a 13th in 26 career appearances for Hull FC, so rattling along at a try every other game, which is decent business. And on the other wing, Lewis Martin, 22 in 37 for Hull and 12 in all competitions in 2025. So 2 wingers, 2 young wingers with plenty of tries under their belts and the prospect of more in their whole careers. This is an improving Hull team.
Nice run out, dummy half. Came off the back of Youssef Aden, who's come onto the field for Herman SAS as expected. John Cartwright has rotated the big man.
Caesar taking on the line, but getting no change out of Adam Kieran. They're getting the ball into the hands of Will Price at every opportunity here, and why wouldn't they? It's having an absolute wow of an afternoon. Caesar again, kicking towards Harvey Barron's wing again. Wigan are double teaming there. One of the men there is Liam Marshall. Marshall is safe and sound. Last year's top try scorer in the Super League. Diffuses that. Here's Wardle.
It's a better end to the set. It's less spectacular than the previous one, but it allows Wigan then, or it allows Hull FC to put some pressure on Wigan, should I say.
Well, that was Abbas Biski. Well, Hull's problems have come from turning the ball over near their own line. And they may well feel, John Cartwright and his coaching team, that if they can keep Wigan at arm's length, they can win this game. Because they're threatening themselves when they get into decent field position. Under pressure again, the kicker Smith. That's
another aspect that they've tidied up. 3 players then on Harry Smith. He catches that ball and kicks it in the same motion.
Well, the home game against Wigan early in the season resulted in an absolute mauling when they lost 46-4 at half-time. They were 22-0 down. They've got a penalty here. Too much from Harvey Hill, says Jack Smith.
Well, Harvey Hill, who's due to join the Black and Whites next year, just stays on too long in that tackle. And the home side and fans celebrate that penalty. Some big deep breaths being taken. 28 minutes on the clock.
John Cartwright is not getting carried away at this stage of the season. He reckons that the competition is yet to really take shape, and he'll be taking stock halfway through the season, having a look where Hull are then and what needs to happen in the remainder of the season to get them in the playoffs, etc. and so forth. But what is clear that John Cartwright and his coaching team have really improved the fortunes of Hull FC in a very short space of time. One of the big powerhouses of the Super League, or certainly ought to be, and they're now very much in and amongst the contenders. Here he is again, Price.
He did well, Zach Hardacre.
And he's
tackled as soon as he caught that ball, probably slightly before he caught that ball.
Cust. Knight.
Liam Knight's getting better every time he wears the black and white shirt as well.
There's Asiata. There is Caesar Price again, and they'll get out to the wing to Martin. Martin with no room to operate. He's a very good finisher and he doesn't mind scoring a try, but in that instance he didn't have the space all the time. Caesar cushions a kick. Up goes Cost, seems to knock it on. Picked up by Nsemba eventually.
I think he was offside when he collects that ball.
He was, Barry, you're spot on.
It was nice. I like it when a 6 or a 7 combine. One kicks, one chases. You can see him centre field, Cade Cust. He knows the kick is coming from Aidan Caesar. Just didn't quite stay behind long enough. Needed a little bit more discipline in his run.
Harry Smith finds the sideline, gets Wigan to within 10 metres of halfway as they start this latest possession. Adam Kieran gets them moving. French, Farrell. So Hull have come from behind twice in this match. From 6-0 down to Bevan French's try. Price with the leveller. From 12-6 down when Field scored. Barron with the equalising score. Walters again.
Move now, Liam! Sarah was a mere tackle 2. Hold Jack. Go
Hill,
two, good man.
it was. Harry Smith moving to that right-hand flank, and that's knocked on.
More good work from the left in defence. I think Liam Knight involved in a couple of the efforts there, but celebrations amongst the players, they know that little wins like that within the context of a game. Sheffield may well have been a forward pass anyway, but the real win for Hull FC is bodies in the right place at the right time.
Well, it's a stifling Hull FC defence now in the last few minutes. They really have started to get it right.
When you get a team that's invested in the small parts of the game, shutting the gate, as players and coaches like to term it as, keep alive, don't clock off, keep moving. Looks like Herman SASA has come back onto the field for Liam Knight. John Cartwright has probably said to his big front row forward, you've got just less than 10 minutes, get your hands on the ball and do your damage.
Like every passage of play which results in an injury or maybe a head injury, it's all reviewed by the video ref, and that was reviewed and no foul play was spotted by Ben Thaler, so it will be a scrum down with Hull ball. And this is a good spell for the home side here.
Ball's out.
Arguably just about on top at this moment, the scoreboard level. Junior Nsemba wrestling.
Move now. Hold.
And they don't like it. The whistle goes, and now there's some pushing and shoving, and it escalates, and Jack Smith's got a job on here.
We see this a lot, don't we, Rod? A bit of pushing and shoving in it, it becomes the ultimate shirt-tugging championship.
We certainly used to see it a lot when you were playing, Barry.
There weren't much tugging of shirts, Rod.
No.
It's about all you can do these days, but it was physicality from Wigan. Sam Walters and Junior Nsemba picked him up and drove him back, Cade Cust. And then some of the other players run in, and then it becomes much about nothing, really. Cade Cust handled, picked up, driven back. He didn't like the attention that he got. I think those two players are entitled to make that tackle, and then other players come in and inflame it. Could be Cade Cust. I think Cade Cust comes in after it started to settle down a little bit.
We've already got the first offence, which is Junior on the head.
I think it'll end with a penalty against Junior Nsemba for the initial incident in the ruck here, but
the way you come in, Cade, you don't need it. The penalty is against Nsemba for the pull on the head. Come on.
Yeah. He's had a word with Cade Cust, I don't mind that. I'm almost of the opinion the physicality was just about right, but obviously Cade Cust takes exception, and then you take a closer look at the physicality and the tackle.
Well, it's a penalty to Hull at the end of it all as they dust themselves down, and Caesar dumps it into touch on the Hull FC right flank, and they can go to work again in Wigan territory here. Can they get a go-ahead score before half-time? The black and whites. Herman SASA, so good they named him twice. Buru. Asiata again.
Move! Stay with me on the line.
Yusuf Aiden busy off the bench. Cade Cuss would love to score against Wigan. Heading for the sideline. Can they keep him in? They can't, because Wigan again have manhandled a Hull FC player over the sideline, something they've made a speciality of in this first half.
My word, they have, Rod. The last, I think, 3 occasions Hull FC have got anywhere near the sideline, they've been picked up and driven back. It'll be special for the players, having seen the way that Cade Cuss reacted, that caused the referee to award the penalty. I don't mind the pushing, it's the pulling. It's when you've got 4 and 5 people involved in it.
Getting a bit tetchy out there. Temper's starting to fray a little bit in the heat in Hull.
Square now! Yusuf!
Wigan have already won here this season. They've won up the road at Craven Park this season as well. Can they get another win in the city of Kingston upon Hull? Hard work up there. Thompson off the bench now. Another one returning from injury here for the Wigan Warriors. Been out for a couple of weeks. Bevan French. Oh, shows the ball, goes. Bevan French is away here. Right-hand flank for Wigan. Looks for support. Throws a wild ball. Will be picked up though by Abbas Miski. Taken down. Will have to play the ball. Wigan still moving here, and Nsemba has his hands on the football. Junior Nsemba gets free, stretches those long legs, and Nsemba goes, and Nsemba scores! What a score that is from the Wigan superstar. What a try that is.
How good is Junior Nsemba? With all the balance and prowess of an outside back. 6'4", 6'5", as tall as a skyscraper. All came about from this play. Bevan French with those dancing feet, finds space, breaks a couple of tackles, shapes to pass right and goes back inside to nobody in particular. Abbas Miski picks up the loose pass. And again, another bouncing, untidy play. Allows the big man a scattered defence, a broken defensive line, and it's beautiful to see. A quick shuffle step, left foot step, and he knows as soon as he has the try line in his sights, it's head down. What a player he is.
Junior Nsemba, second try of the Super League season, also notched a 4-pointer against Hull FC in the Cup. But the initial break was made by Bevan French, who could find space in a phone box, and where there seemed to be no room in which to work, he got free, made the break, and from the ensuing passage of play, Nsemba galloped through. And Wigan are in front for the 3rd time this afternoon now. Three tries from 3 of the biggest names in the game: French, Field and Nsemba. And on the previous 2 occasions, Adam Kieran added the extras. Can he tag on 2 here to make it 18-12? He can.
Well, you back Wigan, don't you, when they're facing a disrupted defensive line, but a real smart couple of interchanges from Matty Pete, bringing Luke Thompson and Cruz Lehman in to speed the ruck up. That scruffy bouncing ball and those missed tackles from Hull FC give Wigan the latest points. But make no mistake, when the game starts to break open and you're introducing players like Luke Thompson and Cruz Lehman, that's a powerful, powerful position to be in.
4 minutes before half-time when that try was put on the scoreboard. And the fatigue factor in this heat may well be important at the remainder of this first half, and no doubt in the second stanza too. Wigan in front for the 3rd time here. What will their game plan be for the remainder of the half? Will they go hunting more points, or will they seek to be more conservative to maintain their advantage to the half-time siren? Marshall's here after the tackle on Wardle. 6 against us, Jack Smith, so more problems for Hull. The biggest lead in the game has never been more than 6. It's been 6 3 times. Farrell runs into 3 defenders. One of them is Yusuf Aiden.
Finals, John. Tackle 2. Hold. Go. 2, 2.
Oh, it's knocked on here by Wardle.
It's a rare
Field
mistake.
pass, the fumble means Hull will get the ball back halfway inside their own half.
It's a rare mistake from Wigan.
Time's off. He's already down injured before the scrum.
Matty Pete looks on at his side.
It's going to be a scrum. Where do you want it? Whoever's going to treat it.
Simple, fundamental skills. He'll cop a mistake if it's a forced one. All player down on the floor.
It's going to be down, boys. You can have a bit of a breather.
And you can just see both sets of players now taking the opportunity to get in, a bit of communication. I think it's Harvey Barron that's down on the deck, holding his knee. Or hope that's not too serious for the young man.
Yeah, bear in mind, Barry, that he's been out for 6 weeks with a hamstring problem, and
He looked to be
Cartwright is
holding,
already without Rapiner from the outside backs as well.
he looked to be holding his knee rather than his hammock. He looks, well, he's up anyway. Looks like he's going to try and run it off. There's a little bit of anxiousness when you come back from an injury. Every little tweak and little unusual feeling around that area will freak you out and spook
Well,
you.
he's only got 3.5 minutes to get through before half-time, in which case the medical team and the physios can have a look at it.
Hey, Rod, I remember that Hull KR game where Hull KR were trying to get Mickey McClorum off and Wigan absolutely penalised them. Ran
Merciless.
straight at them. I think it was Zach Eckersley who made the break.
I remember. But that's the sport of rugby league. There's no sentiment in rugby league, Barry, as you well know. You certainly never showed any in any regard.
Only for you, Rod.
Well,
Stay here, Harvey, stay.
but can Hull and Barron get through to half-time? That's the question. Hull FC down at home again here. Haven't won at home this season. Only Huddersfield of the other Super League sides are without a home win in 2025. But they've shown already twice in this matchup that they can come back off the canvas to level up. They've got to do it again. Hard work in the sun. Price, who's been the star of the show for the home side. Burrow, who's had a terrific match as well. And Caesar puts his left boot to the ball. It's a high-hanging ball. Marshall backpedals to his own try line before gathering. And Liam Marshall brings the ball away for the Warriors.
It was a deep kick, wasn't it, from Hull FC? You feel if it was 10 metres further up and Liam Marshall had to come forward, the defence would have met him, and there's a potential mistake. But
oh, there's a break here now. Miskey, Abbas Miskey, he's got pace, he's got power. He's got both of those, and he's found a man on his inside, which is Cruz Leeming. But Leeming is knocked down halfway inside Hull territory, but Miskey made the break. Harry Smith. Smith finds Farrell. Farrell spins into a tackle, spins out of a tackle, hands him off. Still on his feet here, Liam Farrell now accepts the tackle. Plays the ball. Bevan French goes on a gallop. And Wigan are right on the line again, just in the shadows of the post, right on the half-time interval. Leeming providing another half-back option here for the Warriors. Tackles in the bank here. Kade Ellis tackled. Smith, French. An easy walk in here for Joe Wardle. But Jack Smith is not completely convinced. Try on the field. But we want to check the obstruction again, says Jack Smith. We had one of these earlier when Field scored, and it was awarded by the video ref. What about this one? Ben Thaler.
Live call on field is a try. We're checking the possible obstruction. So we're going from that. That is clear. The defender clearly goes to the attacker. So that is play on. Go back on this, make sure there's nothing before this. So the only thing I'm looking at is December. That is the defender who initiates contact. That is play on. The ball is then passed backwards. And I'm just going to roll this through to the grounding. Thank you. I've now made my decision.
Well, it looks like TRY time just before half-time for the Wigan Warriors, who look like they've rattled up a fourth try before the break here at the MKM. As Ben Thaler gives the try and Jake Wardle scores for the 8th time in the Super League this season. So we've seen Bevan French, Jay Field, Junior Nsemba and Jake Wardle on the score sheet for the Warriors. Price Barron getting tries back for Hull FC, but the deficit will be a dozen points if Kieran converts here. And I mused Barry a few minutes ago, would Wigan settle for their 6-point advantage and run out till half-time, but they did anything but, didn't they?
They did, but I think that partly comes down to Hull FC and their inability to complete the tackles. You've got to make your one-on-one tackles. How many times have we seen Hull FC fall off a tackle? A Wigan attacking player with ball in hand managed to break the tackle of a defender. I don't believe Harry Smith has been tackled once, and he's the main creator for Wigan. He's not been tackled, he's not been dealt with. When it's come time to put his kicks in, most of the time he hasn't been under enough pressure, and that's the reason the scoreboard looks as it does. It was too easy for Jake Wardle at the end.
There's the half-time siren, but Adam Kieran will get the chance to have the 2 points before they head to the dressing sheds. The lead is 10. Can Kieran make it 12? A rare miss for the ace goal kicker, so the lead stays at 10 points, and Wigan, good business from Matty Pete's side in the first half. They've got a 10-point advantage, 22 points to 12. French, Field, and Nsemba and Wardle on the score sheet for the Super League champions. Hull FC have battled hard. Price and Barron have both touched down, but they're 10 points behind. Can they come back in the second half? Rejoin us in a couple of minutes.
You can enjoy every single game live right here on Sky Sports.
And that's a great shot there.
Great tackle! This is getting fiery now. Magic Mikey strikes again.
Individual brilliance from a special player in Bevan French.
Strap yourselves in.
It's going to be a blockbuster. Rugby league, truly the greatest sport on the planet.
Every game is live in 25 on Sky Sports, and next weekend is the Magic Weekend in Newcastle. So it kicks off with League Catalans. This is all on the Saturday. Then Hull KR, the league leaders, up against Salford, and Saints Leeds, final game of the Saturday. This is all on Sky Sports action, as it is on Sunday, when the Giants take on Hull FC. A repeat of the Vegas dust-up between Wigan and Warrington, and then Cass against Wakey in the final fixture of the 2025 Magic Weekend. That should be a whole lot of fun, and this first half has been fun if you support the Wigan Warriors, because they lead by 22 points to 12. French, Field, Nsemba and Wardle, the try scorers. Hull FC have hit back twice to Price and Barron, but the Warriors, the champions, have a 10-point buffer at the break. And this is the first half action in the company of Barry McDermott.
At times, Wigan have been electric with the ball, but reactions here, excuse me, from Bevan French, anticipating, not anticipating the confusion in the ranks there at the back from LSE, but anticipating that there may be something for him. First try on 5 minutes. Then we had a little game of you score, we score. Will Price with a nice little show and go. Got the home fans out of the seats for the first of 2 tries for Hull FC. in that first 40 minutes. It was Wigan's turn next. Through Jay Field. A question about obstruction, a nice pirouette and a nice finish from the fullback. But Tom Briscoe, not for the first time, getting up almost into the attacking line. Making a wrong choice. Video referee awarded the try. And then this is a beautiful kick. Will Price had broken up the field prior to that. Harvey Barron times his leap and catch to perfection. And that took the home side to 12 points. 12 all at that point. But this was the best try of the half for me. Junior Nsemba picks up a loose pass, breaks some tackles, evades and avoids defenders, and with a great deal of determination gets down at the side of the sticks for the fourth and, for me, best try of the afternoon. And just before half-time, the final word goes to the away team. Jake Wardle, it's far too easy for him. 22 points to 12 at half-time. There'll be some soul-searching from Hull FC, but an easy fix-up will be for me, Rod. Make and complete your one-on-one tackles in defence.
Well, there's the tail of the tape where Wigan lead by 10. They've had the lion's share of the possession, and the missed tackle count for Hull FC up to 20, which has caused all manner of problems. And the Warriors have outgained their opponents by 209 metres, so that's a big chunk of real estate bought by the Wigan Warriors. Well, second half, can Hull FC come back like they did in the cup tie at Wigan to knock out the Warriors? Could they do it again? Second half coming up.
December, he'll do it himself, the big man.
And there is fight in the walls yet.
Look out!
One of the highlights of the Super League season coming live on Sky Sports next weekend from Newcastle. Saturday, Magic Weekend, League Catalans, OKR Salford and Saints versus the Rhinos, all live on Sky Sports Action. And the Magic Weekend continues on the Sunday, Giants against Hull FC, Wigan against Warrington, and last on the menu, Castleford against Wakefield Trinity, all live again on Sky Sports Action next Sunday. And this is what we've enjoyed in the first half at the NKN Stadium in the Hull sunshine. Hull FC 12, Wigan 22. 6 tries in that first half. Can Hull come back again? They've come back twice. Can they do it again in this second half? They did it in the cup tie between these two sides in on the season when Wigan were 22-6 up at half-time and Hull got up to win 26-22. It's a big ask against the Super League title favourites, the Super League champions. Can they do it, Barry?
Well, in that cup game, Rod, they dominated the midfield, and Herman SASA had an absolute field day. But Wigan look extremely sharp with the ball. They look like they've got many more gears to go through, and the fix-up will be, as I said, just before half-time. Make those one-on-one tackles count.
Well, Wigan so far this season have lost one game away from home and won the other two. They lost to the Leeds Rhinos. They also lost at home in that bizarre Super League opener when they got beat 1-0 at home by Lee. But apart from that, they've been dominant. And a win here, if they can convert this advantage into a victory, would put them within a couple of points of the league leaders, Hull KR. Hull FC would stay in the chasing pack with the likes of Lee, Leeds, Warrington, St Helens. How do you read it at the top, Barry? Do you make it not quite a two-horse race, but certainly the big two are Hull KR and the Wigan Warriors?
There's no doubt they're the best two teams in the competition, but what we know with Super League, it's about the timing of your run. You've got to be in the race come those final rounds and get in the playoffs, but peaking at the right time gets you the ultimate reward. But yes, I would agree, Wigan and Hull KR look like they're playing a different game at the minute.
Well, Wigan got it right last year, didn't they? They had a bit of a middle to end of season wobble when they were Frenchless, but when it came to playoffs, they were dominant and created a clean sweep of the trophies. Grand Slam, if you will, World Club, Challenge Cup, League leaders, Grand Final winners. What a season that was in 2024. You can't emulate the Grand Slam now, thanks to Hull FC putting them out of the Cup, but they can certainly go back-to-back in Super League.
Straight out, Keane! Stay with us, Amir. Go to.
And Bevan French will be key. Just tried to squirm free, couldn't manage it. Cruz Leeming now. Leeming, jinking run, stepping run, goose stepping run, runs into Buru and Ashworth.
Oh, Jack, get square! Amir!
They're within 15 metres of that whole line again, hunting another try here. It would be a fifth. They scored within 5 minutes of the first half starting. Can they score quickly again here? And Semba already on the board. Offloads to Hill. Hill to Wardle. The last try scorer. Wardle is rolled over on his back by Barron. Smith. And Semba again.
Wasn't a bad play on the last tackle, was it? It looks a little bit more committed in defence, Hull FC. Even though they were still bumping and getting rocked off tackles, you're in a safe position and a better position if your teammate is there to back up those mistakes.
Hull screaming for a penalty that never came, but that and Semba a tackle the trial and had a little bit of surprise. I think maybe Hull were expecting a kick on the final tackle. That didn't come. Briscoe.
What a player like that, Rod, allows the defence to do is compressing. You know that Hull FC are starting in a corner, and you're going to try and restrict those metres but assert your dominance.
Well, you'd think in this playing conditions, the sun, the fast track, more points would be on the menu here, but Wigan may feel that they've almost got enough because Hull will need to score twice to win from where they are now. That's if Wigan don't score. That's knocked on.
Oh.
Fumbled.
Jack Ashworth found himself at dummy half on the last tackle.
French has found Liam Marshall. Marshall in the centres there for a moment or two. Can't get free.
Again, chaos. We said it a couple of times in the first half. It really is imperative that Cade Cuss and Aidan Caesar make themselves available and be in charge at the back end of the sets. Finish your sets of six well.
This is Thompson, Luke Thompson, rumbles forward. They're 20 metres out again. Leeming, Smith, Field, Liam Marshall. Marshall runs into traffic, and Semba's now in a dummy half, and he finds Smith. And this is Leeming again as the runners going from all angles here. Fields gets his hand on the ball. Adam Kieran out the back door. Miskey! I don't think he's grounded that.
I think you're right, Rod.
Let's hear from Jack Smith first and foremost.
Got no try.
No try on the field.
Touch, please.
But there will be an adjudication here for Ben Thaler, but it would be something of a miracle if Abbas Miski has got that down for his 6th try of the Super League season.
No try for touch.
We've got no try. We've got no try on the touch line. So we're just going nice and slow on this. We do need to go slow. Keep it going from here. He's in possession of the ball still. He's still got the ball. He's still got the ball. Still got the ball. And he's still got the ball. But I need to go back here. I'm going to flip it now to camera 2 to just see if this shows me anything. He's in the field of play there. He remains in the field of play at that point. He's never in. If I go to the other angle of 8, at that point, right, I need to ascertain whether he actually does, if he's in the field of play at that point. You can clearly see he's got a white boot on, right, with red laces. We're playing on from here, right, and at the point, the ball is down. I need to work out if he's in the field of play, because on that, the Wigan man right, you can see on this angle here, the Wigan man is in the field of play, and he's above the air, but no part of the Wigan man is on or out of play. So you can clearly see where he is, and I've ascertained the ball is grounded properly. So we're looking at touch, right? No part of him at that point is out of play. Still not on the touch line. You can see the ball down. I need a TX on this, if possible. So they have the TX, please. On camera, can I, yep. If I can have it on the other angle, please. Okay, so I'm just waiting for it to come through. So we know it's grounded. It's not this one, so it's this. And nice and slow. I need it at the same point of, you know he's in the field of play, yeah? Right, he's not, at that point I can see the ball down, and he's not touching anything outside the field of play. So I need them syncing up nicely, please. And we're waiting for the angle to come through. Okay, mate. Right, so the ball is down there, and it's in the field of play. So that's down. And you can clearly see there that the Wigan man is upright, and no part of him is touching out of the field of play. Thank you, I've now made my decision.
Well, Ben Thaler there, this is going to go down well at the MKM Stadium.
Well, you could watch 1,000 games of rugby league and not see that again.
Well, they don't like it, as somebody once said. Well, I'll tell you what, I know many of you tuned in expecting to see Super League action between Hull and Wigan, and instead you thought you were watching CSI MKM Stadium Hull. But that's what you voted for if you wanted the video ref, and that's what you've got, forensic analysis, and that's why that is a try. So the right decision's made, is it, Barry, or as someone else said, you cannot believe your goggling bins.
Well, I'm trying to find the words here, Rod, because when it first went up, my initial reaction, well, he's off the field of play. How can he get that ball down? But the fact that the Wigan defender, who is on the floor, prevents, sorry, not the Wigan defender, the Hull FC defender is on the floor, prevents Abbas Miski from touching the floor, means he's not off the field. Well, so the fact that he's on the defender means he can put the ball down, having not got out of play.
The magic weekend comes a week early. Now you see it, now you don't. I said it'd be something of a miracle if Miski got the ball down, but that was the Miski miracle. And Kieran cannot add insult to injury, hits the post. So it's a 4-pointer, not 6. But I tell you what, as Barry said, when Miski went towards the corner, he looked a million to have scored that. But he had scored it.
Well, the offload from the centre is beautiful. The finish is a mystery. You just roll a dice and... yeah.
Well, they want the correct decision, and that's what they have got.
To the letter of the law, that is the correct decision. But it's crackers. But it's crackers.
Well, it was a long old delay, but Matt Peet and the Wigan coaching staff will feel it was time well spent.
However, I go back to the mistake that's made on the last tackle. The back rower, Jack Ashworth, makes a mistake with the ball, gives Wigan possession back, and they do what they've done all afternoon, which is penalised ruthlessly.
Well, Hull don't drop the ball there. Wigan aren't even in the vicinity. That's the fact of the matter, as Barry says. But, I mean, the whole faithful could not believe what they were seeing on the big screen. I think they thought it was a misprint, but a try it was, and it's a Wigan try for the 5th time this afternoon. Price gathers that kick.
Again, same formula, Rob. Kick early. On that occasion, the kick on the 4th tackle. Everybody knows it's coming, and they get on the front foot in the sprinting blocks, ready to put pressure on Hull FC.
Well, the try's on the board now. They used to say it was in the paper. It's now on the internet somewhere. 26-12 Wigan. Hull now are really on the canvas.
Wigan, get out of there! Harvey Jr. stay here.
Well, John Cartwright was unhappy with losing one-on-one battles in the first half and needs to tidy up the last tackle plays and make sure they turn over the ball in a better position, was the message from the changing room at half-time. Well, they didn't do that, did they? They turned it over in the wrong position. Matty Peet very happy, as you'd expect, and didn't want Wigan to be rushing things. They don't have to rush things. They don't need to chase points here, the Wigan Warriors.
Well, the fortunate position Matty Peet's in, he doesn't have to worry about the plus column because he knows his team are going to score points. He's more concerned with how they concede and whether it's their own fault or Hull FC have had to work hard. So defensive lapses and lack of concentration is what he
concentrate, Barry, concentrate, man.
That's what he wants his side to focus on, and be patient, don't rush things.
Well, Wigan are up by 14 here, so even if they didn't score another point, they may have enough here, because Hull are going to score 3 times from now. That's if Wigan don't add another point. And they may add points here on this attack, because here goes Bevan French. French looks for an offload. Did it flick a hand? It did.
I think it's a forward pass. I do like it when Wigan, I know Cruz Leeman has started matches in recent weeks, but I do like it with Brad O'Neill starting the game. They bring Luke Thompson, Cruz Leeman, Harvey Hill off the bench just to change up the rhythm, and then players like Bevan French get a quick ruck, a disrupted defensive line to run at.
It's easy to sit in the shade up here and say that Bevan French has pushed the envelope a couple of times this afternoon, but that's the way he plays.
He had his arm free, didn't he? He was trying to find that support player that was with him.
And in order to score sensational, spectacular tries, you've got to take a chance somewhere with a pass.
When we look at what Matty Peet said about his side, it wasn't about what they were doing with the ball, it was those defensive lapses in concentration. See, I can say it, Ross.
Stay here, wait!
Little doubt. And Hull, having conceded that try, and goodness knows what they made of it, because I'm sure they felt the defensive cavalry that came across, that they'd done the necessary and got Miski over the sideline, which they had, but not at the time the ball was grounded, which is the key point here. He did go somewhere into row A, but not before.
But he didn't touch the ground because he was on a Wigan player.
Yeah, I know.
A Hull FC player.
Oh
dear.
And SASA is hurt.
Anybody else play it, Herman? Can you play the ball, Amir? Herman!
When you go back to that that cup game
5.
that Hull FC won. They were so dominant in the middle, controlled the ruck speed and made meters at will. They've done neither this afternoon.
Oh, it's knocked on, having gathered the ball. Miskey finds Jay Field. Field finds Marshall. Marshall stretching his legs, but he's cut down. 10 minutes in the second half. Wigan have added 4 to the tally.
First, move now, Keith! Hold one, stay. Hold one, stay quick, Amir! 2, straight off it now! Hold 2, you good, Jack.
That's Cruz Leeming squirming free to find Harry Smith. Smith, the jinking run.
First time he's been tackled. How many times has he run with the ball, Harry Smith, and been allowed to play the game?
Knocked on there, Barry, by Leeming, I felt.
Oh, he's pleading not.
They can challenge. The challenges are still up the sleeve of both teams here.
He definitely shaped to go to the other side.
You've used the floor to regain possession of the ball. You want to challenge
Oh yeah, there's a little bobble.
Well,
There's a
they're
little
going to
bobble.
challenge it. I think that is another roulette wheel challenge, which is going to come up black rather than red here for Wigan. They can't seriously think that was a howler by the referee. We saw Cass get it right a couple of times yesterday at Huddersfield, but I think this is going to be in the challenge unsuccessful column. Mind you, I thought that Miskey hadn't scored.
Correct.
Challenge, a knock-on. So we have a captain's challenge by Wigan of the ruling of a knock-on. And it's... Let's just go back to that. You can clearly see he uses the floor to regather the ball. Thank you, I've now made my decision.
You're right, Rod.
Well, the challenge is going to be unsuccessful. A reckless utilisation of the captain's challenge there by Wigan. To the point of madness. But I suppose if you're going to chuck a captain's challenge in the bin, you might as well do it when you're 14 in front and in control of the match. But that's what they've done there. They've screwed up a captain's challenge and hurled it into the dustbin with wanton abandon.
Zach, let's make sure we're in.
At full speed, I thought that Cruz Lehman had just showed it. But just goes to show he's right man, right place, and he's got it right on that occasion, the ref.
Surrender.
Well, that's what we're finding out, isn't it? Despite claims to the contrary, referees get a far, far more right than they get wrong.
But they're not perfect.
They're not perfect.
Nothing about our game is perfect. Even the video ref is not perfect.
Here's a penalty, and Jack Smith blows his whistle long and loud. Hull have a penalty. Is this the route back into this contest? The air has rather gone out of the balloon at the MKM at the start of this second stanza after that Miskey try, but here come Hull for the first time since the interval. Can they come to something up here? Price was involved. Knight. They are 20 metres from the Wigan Warriors try line as Amir Buru gets his hands on the ball. Now Aidan Caesar and now Hearn SASA. Penalty here, offside against Wigan. They'll get a fresh set. So another 6 here. So multiple sets for Hull FC inside the Wigan Warriors red zone. Oh, dearie me. That's an absolute shocker.
Well, poor timing of the run from Jack Ashworth and decision to pass it from Aidan Caesar ultimately put pressure on the back row.
Well, a difficult one for any forward to handle. Even a man with the manual dexterity of Barry McDermott would have struggled to have bent his back to pick that one up off the floor, Barry.
That close to the line, you're expecting a defender right at the point that you catch it. So Jack Ashworth, who would want to catch that ball, of course he would. I think when Hull FC look back at this game, we've got 52 minutes. How many times they presented an opportunity to Wigan through their own either ill discipline with the ball or failure to make those tackles one-on-one, as we keep saying.
French kicks. It crosses the sideline and Hull are pinned back.
There's such a difference between the two teams at the back end of the set. There's a process that Wigan are going through, deliberate in their actions, their execution is good, and they get it right most of the time. It's a wonderful, calming kick from Bevan French. But then if you look at the way that Hull SC have finished their sets of 6, most of the time it looks like it's been made up.
Barron clattered just outside his 10-metre area, or just outside the penalty area, as you can see the markings from the Hull City game. That is Zach Hardacre, who stands up and plays the ball. Martin, Lewis Martin, wearing the 22 shirt, playing on the left flank, but coming in field for work. SA! Oh, he tried to get an arm free, and in doing so fumbled the football. Snared by Wigan, by the try scorer of the second half, Abbas Miski. Miski being manhandled towards the sideline, but stays in play.
Well, Herman SASA is making his way to the sideline, forced that offload, having been told when he's running the ball forward that Liam Farrell, who's got the ball now, was offside. So he broke the line but made the mistake.
Second in the offload charts in this Super League season, Herman SASA, behind Tavita Pangai Jr. of the Catalan Dragons.
Matty Laidlaw getting a chance and an opportunity now.
Harry Smith, French, Field going. Field squirming free, still going here, Jay Field. Jay Field, the dancing feet of the fullback. Harry Smith. Wardle, only scored once this afternoon. Wardle, Jake Wardle is a strong man and he's difficult to put down, but they have put him down eventually. 3 of them needed though. And Wigan almost tight to that far touchline. The Wigan Warriors left. Smith goes one way, then comes the other, comes across from left to right. Goes Leeming. Leeming finds Thompson. Thompson. A line ball there from Leeming to Thompson, and Thompson is taken down. A couple of tackles left here for all the Warriors. That's Sam Walters. And the whistle goes. They're over the line, but held up quite clearly.
5.
And this is the last tackle in this set. That's Smith. Smith with a kick that's going to land just over the dead ball, over the goal line, sorry, and picked up comfortably in composed fashion by Will Price.
He looks the most dangerous player with ball in hand, Will Price, but not down this far. A nothing kick from Wigan just allows Hull FC to get their hands on the ball for the first time in a while.
This has been a tough second half for Hull. They did have that passage of play when they got inside the Wigan half and then promptly knocked on after a loose ball from the half-back, loose pass from the half-back. Price, definitely the danger man for Hull FC here, Knight. Caesar finds Hardacre, and Hardacre finds 3 Wigan defenders waiting for him. This is better, they'll get it wide to Lewis Martin, but immediately Wigan clamp him and the whistle goes again.
I think there's a
Jack Smith.
I think there's a tackle off the ball.
Which is why it's a penalty only.
Referee Jack Smith didn't like the contact made on Davy Litton. Abbas Miski almost with his head down. He's going to make that tackle anyway. And because of the rotation of the forwards, Jack Ashworth is off the field. Ed Chamberlain comes on. And in that cup match, Zach Hardacre and Ed Chamberlain with a back row has caused all manner of problems. Nice offload.
Oh, that is a piece of artistry to get that away. Towards Laidlaw, Matty Laidlaw, off the bench this afternoon for Hull FC. First appearance of the season. Half a chance here for Aidan Caesar. Caesar, can he get an arm free? Can he get a ball free? Can't. And Will Price was waiting to swoop again. Play on is the call. Caesar plays the ball. Price. Asiata involved. Hardacre involved. Thought about a pass, but was smothered by Wardle and Nsemba. Briscoe and Hardacre didn't like it. The attention he was getting. Play on's the call, though. And Liam Knight does just that, but he's now on one leg here, hopping towards the try line. Wow, some flamingo stuff from Liam Knight. Amir Buru trying to smuggle his way to the line, sneak under a couple of would-be defenders, couldn't do so. It's going to be a penalty against Amir Buru.
Oh, to give a penalty away when you've got the ball in hand is absolutely criminal. And another example of Hull FC, shooting themselves in the foot. You can see, as he's got ball in hand, Liam Knight has been outstanding this afternoon. But as Amir Burra stands up, tries to play the ball, he just can't resist shoving Sam Walters in the chest.
Well, Herman SS is off with a blow to the sternum, we're getting reports, and being assessed on the sideline, so maybe struggling to come back on. We'll keep an eye on the big fella. Caesar, as Wigan didn't cut the penalty into touch, and Harvey Barron crosses the 10-metre line, and Hull need a try, and they need one now. 6 more, I think. Knight again. Struggling to make yardage here, Hull. Chewing up tackles, but not going anywhere fast at the moment. And that's knocked on again. Is it a penalty here? Just hang on a minute.
If you're doing that, mate, you've got to be perfectly square.
It's going to be a penalty, not square at marker, I think Jack Smith's call here.
They're going to get another go, aren't they, Hull FC? They need to get something. Still over a quarter of the game left.
And Wigan seemingly almost content to concede penalties here. They know Hull can't kick for points, and they're content to defend their line. This is Ed Chamberlain. The question is, at what point will Jack Smith say enough's enough and a yellow card for persistent offending on your line? Knight trying to reverse to the try line here. Hull desperate for a try. Aidan Caesar lets the ball go to Cust. Cust is immediately enveloped. Wigan's defence is watertight. Ferocious. Barron, Caesar. This is Laidlaw again, but they're not going anywhere fast, are they? They keep going back to the point of where they first started, which is about 10 metres from that Wigan try line. And Wigan are content to hold them at arm's length just about there. It's going to be knocked on again here. And this time it is a knock-on, and there's no penalty to save their bacon here.
There's no doubt that Hull FC have made some massive improvements in 2025. And in the opening 8 and almost 9 rounds now, they are impressive in many ways, but skills under pressure, the best teams nail that pass, they nail that catch. And Hull FC, I don't know whether it's a little bit of fatigue, a little bit of emotional fatigue. They've had so many big occasions to get up for, none more so than the recent derby match against Hull KR.
Well, at the start of the season, Hull FC were up in the top 2 for a little while. They've certainly gone from outhouse to penthouse from last season, but I think that we've seen in the last few weeks where they are in the pecking order, because they weren't able to put a dent in Hull Kingston Rovers, and this afternoon doesn't look like they're going to put a dent in the Wigan Warriors. And as Barry said early in the second half, it does look to the observer that Wigan and Hull KR are the big 2 and the dominant 2. But can another team get into the mix come grand final time? I wonder. That's Cade Ellis spinning the ball out. And this is now Field the danger man. But the danger is snuffed out there very quickly by Tom Briscoe. Meaty challenge from the Hull outside back. Harry Smith content to prod it down the sideline towards the goal line.
Well,
crosses every line. Where did it go out first? It's going to be
tackles, yeah, it's gone over
7 tackle set.
It's gone over the back line. Hull FC will want to do something with this possession, but going back to the point I made about Hull FC in the last couple of weeks and the emotional energy that they've put into those games. The best teams, of course, they have skill and speed and can score points, but fundamentally they are tough, not just physically, but mentally tough, and being able to get yourself up week after week after week and perform at the highest level is where the championship sides sit.
Well, as we stand at the moment, Wigan will conclude the weekend in second spot, a couple of points behind their great rivals, Hull Kingston Rovers. And they will keep Hull below them. Hull had a chance to go, or still have a chance to go above Wigan if they win this game, but that looks a long shot now. Gus. Let's get the ball away to Laidlaw. And Bryce is taken down as he gets the kick away. Batted down by Martin. There's going to be a penalty here. or it's going to be a knock-on by Abbas Miski.
He was happy with the challenge, Jack Smith. The knock-on is where Hull FC will get the ball back. Interestingly, the black and whites have made a change in the halves. Yeah, Harry Smith putting pressure on the Hull FC fullback. There's the knock-on from Abbas Miski. But Divine Barnforth is on the field. He's been impressive every time we've watched him. Matty Pete looking down on his side will want them to defend with commitment.
Barnforth there, well, Hull have been down here often enough to have scored 2 or 3 tries in the second half, but they haven't scored any up to press. So this is fast approaching the must-score time of the match as far as Hull are concerned. Caesar, Litton, the offload is wild, and Wigan break away, and the man that Hull did not want to see breaking away is Bevan French. French stretches his legs, French scores the try, he bags a brace. Bevan French, once he was in open field and then into the backfield, it was put the binoculars down and go you good thing go, and Bevan French eases away effortlessly to score and closes the gate on this contest, because Wigan now lead by 30 points to 12. KTC, Barry McDermott.
Well, they just crank the pressure up, don't they? You can see he feels like he's going to get pushed over the sideline, David Litton. His automatic response is, I'm going to offload the ball to one of my teammates before I get pushed off the island. And who's waiting there? Well, it's Wigan in numbers, and as soon as it gets in the hands and Bevan French, that's it. I will say this, the player that's just come onto the field, Barnforth, does not give up on that chase. He doesn't allow Bevan French to go round and put the ball under the black dot, under the H's. Small efforts, little efforts. With the scoreboard gone, the best players play without knowledge of the scoreboard, with an ignorance of the scoreboard, and it's the competitive spirit that they play with. And the young man that's just entered the field wearing the number 27 for his side, number 25, sorry, he did just that.
But today it won't make any difference, but on another occasion, you're quite right, Barry, that might be the difference in winning and losing a rugby league match, that effort. You're quite right.
I played with a coach and he used to say, you can't put in what God left out. You've either got that spirit and desire or you haven't. You can certainly encourage it within your squad and in your team, but when the scoreboard's gone, as it looks like it has here, it's a very difficult position Hull FC find themselves in.
Bevan French's 7th try of the Super League season. We've seen Jay Fields 11th, Jake Wardle's 8th, and Abbas Miski's 6th also this afternoon. And will we see another successful kick here from Adam Kieran? Indeed we will, straight down the middle, and Wigan are now up by 20.
Well, it's a beautiful sight for any Wigan fan, especially those that have made the trip over the 62. He makes himself available. Liam Farrell finds an offload, and look at that, Bevan French with all that field in front of him, and there's the effort from the young man that's just come onto the field. Well done.
Well, this is the 3rd time these two teams have met in 2025 in League and Challenge Cup. And Adam Kieran's conversion took Wigan's tally of points in those 3 contests to exactly 100. They won 46-4 in the league here. They lead 32-12 now, and they lost 22-26 at home in the cup to the Black and Whites. But the 2 league games are both going to go Wigan's way comprehensively.
Now, the question you're asking yourself, if you're looking at this game as a contest, what can Hull FC get out of it? Well, it might not be the points on the scoreboard, but it might just be a case of fixing up what's ailed them all game, which is that defence, discipline with the ball, It looks too easy for Wigan here.
Well, at this stage in the match, it's about the last couple of rounds of a boxing contest. Hull can't find a knockout punch from here, and Wigan can start to showboat if they like. They can turn it on, put some moves on, they can or go through some kind of practice process. It's all what Matt Peake gets the message out here. What do Wigan want to get out of 12 minutes?
Listen, Rod, if you're going to use a boxing analogy, I watched that Ben Eubank fight last night. Conor Benn was outstanding, and yes, he lost that match, but not at any point did he give in, and that's what you want as a fan when you're watching your team. Don't give in. And Hull FC, as we've said, have made so many massive strides forward.
Well, that was about Eubank Jr. Wigan have got their Junior and Semba, and we saw him on the score sheet in the first half for the Warriors. 2 for French, 1 for Field, 1 for Semba, 1 for Wardle here for a rampant Wigan side now.
Held. 5 release.
Threatening to really put some points on Hull FC, or let's get it right here, the 4th ranked team in the competition, but have been made to look mediocre in the main as Marshall muffs the kick and hands possession and field position to Hull FC here. And boy, Barry, they've had plenty of field position in the second half here, Hull FC. They've done nothing with it.
He's disappointed there, Liam Marshall. I reckon in the last 10 minutes he's had virtually nothing to do. Inactivity for him mentally. He doesn't know where the sideline is. He thought he was closer than what he was. He was trying to stay in field, and he ends up making a real hash of it.
We saw the Wigan coaching team there, led by Matt Peake, Tommy Mulawai, and the rest of the Brains Trust at Wigan, watching on here from high up in the stand at the MKM as Hull look for points. In the form of Briscoe, that could have been knocked out by Wigan from this huge distance away, but it's play on is the call in any regard. Here's Price. Price, that's intercepted as well, this time by Kieran. Kieran hasn't got the pace of French. He can get away from one tackle and he can keep the ball moving. Here's a man with some pace. It's Liam Marshall. He offloads along the ground, a rolling ball. Oh. Picked up, I think, by O'Neill.
Siata slams into that tackle then. It's been a frustrating afternoon for him.
Well, this time they did get the right man because Kieran hasn't got the pace of French or maybe Field or maybe Liam Marshall. Otherwise, it would have been another behind-the-sticks job for Hull FC from an intercept. Walters, he offloads to Hill. Hill squirming away, carrying the ball in his left arm. Looks to offload. Now thinks better of it. Takes the tackle.
Come back. Tackle 3, stay.
That's the 3rd tackle. They've got 3 left here, Wigan, as they look for more points. Field, easy ball to Nsemba, and Nsemba threatened to burst through the defence. Takes the tackle. And Nsemba plays the ball, he's got Wardle there.
Oh, it's again here.
Another set, that really is crazy play from Hull FC. They're going to put themselves really under the cosh here. Walters looking to offload as he spun out of the tackle briefly. This is O'Neill. O'Neill goes himself, he fancies 4. He won't get 4. It's a double movement. That's a mistake.
He just can't resist, can he, Brad O'Neill?
That's white line fever manifest.
He thinks he's a little bit closer than he is, Brad O'Neill, who's just recently been introduced back onto the field of play. Jumps out from dummy half, thinks he's got it. And the referee's right in front of him. So many good things are happening for Hull FC, but off the back of one good thing, you'll get a bad thing. And a mistake, and a memory.
Well, we've got Magic Weekend coming up. Saints Leeds, the big game of the Saturday, and then on the Sunday, we've got Wigan versus Warrington. You might remember that shellacking Wigan handed out to Warrington in Las Vegas. They meet again in Newcastle. Cass Wakey wraps it up. All that action is live on Sky Sport Action next weekend, which will be a barnstorming weekend in the northeast. Here's Briscoe as Hull look for some kind of consolation laid on in the piece here. Time ticking away. Price, Will Price.
Jack Ashworth with his back to play then. Will Price looking for somebody to pass to, and they've dropped the ball here.
The error count mounting up in quite horrific style in the second half for Hull FC.
It won't be good reading for John Cartwright when he looks at the mistakes, when he looks at the missed tackles. My word. Take nothing away from Wigan this afternoon. They've been slick and classy when they need to be. Zach Eckersley, the latest player to carry the ball forward. Job done for the Cherry and Whites.
John
with over 7 minutes to go.
Looking on like a discontented school teacher at pupils that have been misbehaving in class. You'll be familiar with that, Barry.
When I went to school, yeah. Yeah, two steps forward, 1 step back here for Hull FC, you feel.
But John Cartwright was pointing out pre-match that you don't play Wigan and Hull KR every week. And not many teams will beat Wigan and Hull KR. So perhaps the barometer for Hull is still what happens when they play Warrington, when they hammered Warrington away from home, when they play Leeds, when they play Lee. Good catch. Offload. Was that wise, I wonder? I'm not sure it was, because Wigan have got it, and Semper's got another 4. Well, wrap that 4 points up in a bow. It was a gift. Oh, hold on a minute. Is it 4 points, or is it an illusion, another magic trick?
No try.
No try.
Check out the ball.
Okay, let's go to the video referee and see if it's 4 points or not 4 points, Ben Taylor.
So we have a live call of no try. We need to go back first of all to ensure that they're all onside from the kick. So we pause it there, and the 4 players immediately to the right are all offside. Just go back on this. In my opinion, they're all passive. You can clearly see 20 actually turning to come back. The player who is in these eye lines there is onside, so that is play on. And what happens from here? You can see the Hull man with the ball. Hull man has the ball. Right, does Wardle, because the Hull man passes the ball backwards, is it then touched by Wardle? Camera 9 will help me with this. You can clearly see there it's offloaded backwards and it misses Wardle's hands. So this is play on from here. It's then caught there by Wardle. There is no knock on at that point. So there's no knock on by Wigan. I can't rule on anything else now, I just need to rule on the grounding. Pause it there, thank you, I've now made my decision.
Well, this is going to be a video refereeing overrule, and it's a try to Wigan. It's a try to Junior Nsemba, and he makes his a double in the Hull sunshine, and he enjoyed that, and why wouldn't he? 2 for French, 2 for Nsemba.
I feel a little bit sorry for Harvey Barony. I think there was a fear of the try line and being pushed over the back of it. He throws a wild offload, but is there a better centre in the world than Jake Wardle at the minute? He makes that tackle, he manhandles the winger, he's on red alert, snatches the ball out of the hand of Cade Cust and provides a lovely little left-handed offload to Junior Nsemba. And I know that's a big statement, Rob, but I think that he is the best centre in the world at this point in time, Jake Wardle.
Well, he has 5 tries in his last 5 matches. He was the Wigan Player of the Year in 2024. And that was a try assist of great quality, great aggression and great skill. And the kick is missed. It hardly matters.
It doesn't, no, but again, I marvel at the development and progression of Jake Wardle whilst he's been under Matty P, and that's one of the strengths of the Wigan club. They improve everybody in the ranks. Matty Pete, Thomas Luluai, John Duffy, the analysts sat in between them, and of course you've got Sean O'Loughlin on the sideline, just mentoring and getting every player that joins the club to progress and just be 10-15% better than they were.
The Wigan MO is generally to review their own performance and work out on how they can get better, rather than to preview what their opponent might do and work out tactics to deal with an opponent. Wigan feel it's about them getting better and them improving, and the rest will take care of themselves.
I really admire the way that Matty Pete takes a loss. He's really magnanimous while his team's losing. Harvey Hale gaining his side a penalty there.
I agree with you.
You couldn't tell from his demeanour whether he's won or lost. He's always happy and unhappy in the same amount.
Well, just to underline what you're saying, Barry, in that big win at Hull KR, highly significant win, he came out afterwards and said to Jenna in the post-match interview, that match could have gone either way, we could have lost. There was no sort of big up in it and large in it after winning an important game. It was, you know, it was an even contest, and Hull KR could have won that game if a bounce of the ball had gone another way halfway through the second half, which is fair comment.
Absolutely, and of course he understands the technicalities of the game, but it's his man management. There's a penalty there, a heavy challenge. I think it's Liam Knight who gets up quick, but it's the man management of his players from Matty Smith that probably
let's
puts
have a
him
look what's
above
happened
everyone
here,
else.
Barry.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, he is. He's been treated.
It's gone up quick. I think it's Liam Knight on Harry Smith.
Give him a bit of space, Bevan. Give him a little bit of space, mate.
Well, you'd be surprised if a card didn't come out here, but it'd be Ben Thaler advising Jack Smith. Ben is in the video booth here, monitoring all the angles.
Well, let's not be too quick to judge. A heavy hit doesn't necessarily mean an illegal one. We need to establish where the point of contact is.
Not getting much in
That was it. Headingley on Friday for the madness of the reds and the yellows there. Let's have a look.
There's going to be a card coming out here, as I was saying a few moments ago before Barry interrupted me.
Just don't want us to get to a point where we're sending a bloke to the sin bin because he's made a heavy challenge.
some forceful contact with the head, mate. It's 10 minutes in the bin.
And it's 10 minutes in the bin, so it's effectively a sending off to all intents and purposes.
It's meaningless now, isn't it? There's nothing left on the clock.
Well, it won't make many difference between yellow or red at this stage, obviously, but it might in the disciplinary.
Look, he's got up, he's hit a much smaller player with force, which is the terminology that's used.
And the ball had gone, which is the key element.
There wasn't much, Rod.
Well, Barry
we see the
would
game
be a great
differently,
advocate
that's fine.
for any...
I don't want us to lose the physicality.
No, we're not. Right. O'Neill, can Wigan score now with Hull short-handed for the remainder? And that is Sam Walters. He's very close to the line, but whether he's over it or not is immaterial because he's not going to get that ball down there. Not through the body of Zach Hardacre, he's not.
2 markers in.
And in a minute, Barry is going to give us his player of the match as well. That's one of Barry's duties in the remaining 2.5 minutes. So just start some thought process there, Barry, if you would. And here we're going to go with Field. Jay Field, going close to the line, looking for his second try. We've seen a brace from Nsemba and French up to press. And we almost saw 2 there for Abbas Miski. He fancied it as well. Eckersley's off the bench here. Zach Eckersley. Harry Smith kicks high. And Nsemba fumbles it, and it goes behind, off the field of play, out of play, and Hull will get a set on the 20 metres. 7 tackles. Junior Nsemba was chasing a hat-trick there, hunting a hat-trick there, and Nsemba couldn't reel it in.
Stand 0 tackle.
2 minutes left. Wigan by 24. Hull with a player in the bin. Liam Knight in the sin bin, and so they'll finish the game with 12. I think Barry's crunching the numbers, going through all the tackle data, all the meters made, try assists, offloads, to compute a calculated version of player of the match.
I'll be honest, Rod, to the naked eye, there's been much of a muchness from the Wigan players. They've all played incredibly well. Always in a game like this, your temptation is to look at try scorers. Bevan French has been all over the field.
Not a shrewd judge like you, though, Barry, surely.
And he was the player I asked everybody to watch out for.
Oh, yes.
But Junior Nsemba and some sterling performances in the midfield as well.
Right, you've named 6 of them, I think, so far. Do you want to go through the other 7? Oh, what a ball that is, by the way. Kate Cuss came onto it at pace. Can he offload? It's knocked out of his hands. It's deemed to knock on, and that just about sums it up, really, for Hull FC. They've been close, but no cigar in the second half. Are they going to challenge? They're going to challenge. There is 40 seconds left. Hull are down by 24 points, and they're challenging a knock-on. Let's have a listen to Ben Taylor, who probably thought his afternoon's work was done.
Hull are challenging the ruling of a knock-on here. Let me just go back to this. So you can see the ball comes out of his hands, but does player knock the ball? Does Field knock the ball out of his hand? Let me just have a look at camera angle number 1. And you can clearly see that is slapped down by the Wigan player, and it is picked up by the Hull man. So there is no knock-on, and therefore the challenge is successful, and that is back to 1. So it will be tackle 1, or yes, tackle 1, and Hull retain their challenge.
Even a broken clock.
Yeah, I'm thinking of opening a Captain's Challenge consultancy, and that will be one of my first clients. Right, so quickly, Barry, before Hull try to score here, who is the player of the match?
Oh, without going through everybody that's performed
don't do that
really
again.
well.
That was French. Bevan French.
Gets
Bevan
the
French.
Betfred player of the match.
Okay. Not for the first time in 2025, Bevan French player of the match. Caesar Hardacre, as the clock ticks down into the final 20 seconds. Has that been knocked on? No, it's a penalty. It's a penalty. They'll get one more playoff here. Yeah, well, they might have got 2 if they've been quick, but it'll only be 1, I think. Oh, the clock is stopped. 11 seconds left.
Zach Hardacre playing in the back row in the last couple of weeks. Everybody ends up in the pack eventually, Rod.
So I believe.
Just wait, Denise.
I look forward to Bevan French playing prop at some point. Barry. Last play, you feel. Caesar kicks through. Knocked dead by Abbas Miski, and that will be all she wrote. And Wigan Warriors have beaten Hull FC at the MKM Stadium for the second time in 2025. 46-4 in February and 36-12 at the back end of April as the Warriors move up the league ladder to second, closing the gap on Hull KR to a couple of points. They leapfrog Lee, and Hull miss their chance to overtake the Warriors in the league. Wigan dominating really from start to finish, led at half-time by 18-12, and the second half was all Wigan. Wardle, Miski, French and Nsemba on the mark to go with the previous tries for French, Field and Nsemba again. So dominant display for the Wigan Warriors. They take the 2 points back across to Wigan, and no real qualms about the result there, Barry. I feel best team won.
A bitterly disappointing afternoon for the Black and Whites, but Wigan proved why they are where they are. All the major performers, all the key decision makers stood up